Yo ho, guys, what's up, yo? So today, this is gonna be a part 2 of the other video that I made called "This Guy's Lying." Basically, in my last video, I called out a guy, right, that was, making fun, well, not making fun, but like, painting us as a bad guy, right? They were painting us as misogynist or narcissist. I mean, both of them go under the same boat, so I guess. But in this one, I'll be actually answering some questions about gynophobia, like I promised in my last video. So, without further ado, let's get started. So, gynophobia means a fear of women, or like discomfort near women. There are different ways that you can obtain this fear, which we'll talk about later. But yeah, what exactly is gynophobia is that it's a fear of women. And there's also another variation of this called philophobia, which is fear of relationships, which I have, alright, which you'll see in my up and coming new FNF mod. That's gonna be for Men's Mental Health Awareness Month, but it'll come out like probably way earlier because I just want to get the project done and upload it to Game Banana. Alright, next question. Great question. Well, it highly depends on the person. Like, for example, for me, my fear of women started when I made my first ever video. Well, not my first ever video per se, but like my first ever Sunday roasting video. The reason why feminism isn't taken seriously, right? Because of awkward goat, I'm scared, right? I'm scared of women. Alright, because what if they turn out like that, her, alright? Before this, I was still scared of women, obviously, but it was more niche, okay, niche, so it wasn't as clear. So, yeah, it highly depends on the type of situation, but it's mostly interacting with women because, there's, in India, right, there's a lot of false rape cases and like a lot of sexual harassment cases, like false, and it even took someone's life back then. Rest in peace to Abdul Sabaz, may his soul rest in peace. And Awkward Goat made fun of that guy, and that's why feminism isn't taken seriously. Anyways, to answer the question, it's not like women as themselves, alright? Even where we know that, not all women are like that, alright? But we also have like a little feeling, right? That, any day they can just turn on us. So, yeah. So, to answer your question, it's not the matter of like the person, right? So it highly depends on how they obtain the fear, I must say. So yeah. Next question. I'm sorry if I wasn't clear with that question, but yeah, just to be clear, it highly depends on what gynophobia person you're talking to. For me, it's interacting with women. Let's continue. Gynophobia is a fear of women, and philophobia is the fear of relationships. Alright, let's put these two fears together into gynophobia. Alright, these two are the same. Alright, misogyny is hatred towards women. Alright, and sexism is hatred towards a certain gender. Alright, so as a gynophobia myself, right, I don't really hate women. Like, if a woman, right, is like minding their business, Alright, let's say on the internet, right? I'm gonna give you like one of my Sunday roaster victims, right, as an example. Alright, if a VTuber, right, is doing their work, right, like, you know, they're not trying to get into drama, alright, then I won't really make a video on them unless they have like some sort of a controversy, like Iron Mouse and the Rakai and Ray incident. So yeah, so it's not hatred of women, it's just a fear. So it's like androphobia, which is fear of men, right? Y'all have trauma from like your husband, brother, boyfriend, father, uncle, whoever it may be, right? It's just like that. We also get trauma from women. Hope you understand. Let's continue. Just know it's not the matter of hatred, it's fear. Again, it's just like the second question that I answered. It highly depends on the person. Like, for example, for me, my fear of women came from pseudo-feminists, like blaming men for no reason whatsoever. But for someone else who has gynophobia, it could be like, you know, physical or mental abuse or like sexual abuse that happened with their mother, aunt, sister, whoever, right? Sweet Home Alabama moment. Yeah, I know. Shut up. Alright. So yeah, it highly depends on who you ask. But if you're asking about me specifically, then it has to be these pseudo-feminists on the internet, including Muskan Madan, Samir Yensky, David Basim. You know, all those of people are the reason why I think women are like scary monsters. Alright? But hey, you do your own research on that, as I cannot say for sure that that's the only reason. So yeah, just do your own research on that. Well, I can't say for everyone, but yes, it can. It can stem from a childhood trauma / abuse. For example, your mother hitting you with a slipper, or like your mom, like, you know, doing essay, right? Which is, it's a real thing. Alright, I'm gonna say it again, it's a real thing. It happens in real parts of India. Alright? I've seen it happen with my own eyes, and I wish I'd bleach it out, bro. Oh my god, bro. That was so fucking bad, bro. I'm gonna kill myself. Anyways, back to topic. Again, it highly depends on the person, but yes, it can stem from childhood abuse. Or it can even happen out of nowhere. One day, you're dating your girlfriend, watch one of Awkward Goat's videos, and then boom, you're scared of women. Just like that. It's like an on and off switch. So, to answer your question, yes, childhood experiences and trauma can lead to gynophobia. Well, the social anxiety part is highly dependent on how the gynophobe, or I'm gonna say, how the gynophobe would react, alright? Because everybody has different reactions, and that too at different scenarios. If they see a woman driver, then they would probably floor it, and they would never look back. So that's one thing. But the other phobia part I can actually answer. It can also lead to philophobia as well, which is a fear of relationships. I also have that, right? If anybody like asks me out, right, I would be shitting bricks. I'm gonna just say, it's like acting like fuck. It's the same equivalent to us, you know, gynophobes. All right. It's the same equivalent of getting asked out to like your mom saying that, hey son, we need to talk. You'll be shitting bricks, bro. So yeah, that's one thing that you need to look out for. That different people have different experiences. for well, how they handle social anxiety. All right, but yes, it does connect to one other phobia called philophobia. Yeah, let's just continue. Alright, so since it's on a religious slash cultural part, right? I won't say much, alright? But yes, it can be because of religious slash cultural upbringing. Alright, so the common symptoms of gynophobia, alright, is if you're a woman, right? I'm gonna just say that you're a woman, right? You're watching this video. If your man or like your friend is like staying far away from you, right, and is way more distant towards other female or like your friends or like their mother or like their sister, but is openly, right? It's like so open with their friends, all right? Like they're joking around, they're having fun, they're having a laugh, you know, etc. But when it comes to women, they go dead silent. That's your sign that your boyfriend or your whoever it may be, your brother, whatever, right? He has gynophobia. So that's one example. That's like a couple of symptoms, right? And there are typically multiple types of gynophobia, which I don't really want to get into. But there's like stage 1, 2, 3, 4, and finale. Okay, there's like finale. So yeah, so those are the symptoms. Like if he is more distant towards females, but is really open and really lively around guys, like their friends or whatever, then that's a sign of gynophobia. It means that he does not feel comfortable around you. Well, again, I've said this like multiple times already. It highly depends on the type of person. So I can only speak for myself. Physically, it feels like I'm having a heart attack. Alright? Well, not like a heart attack. It's not that. Okay? It's not like that. It's just my heart starts to race. I start sweating and I try to find a way out. Alright? Emotionally, there is this bunch of yanderis coming after me. And they want to molest me or something like that. So emotionally, it feels like a monster is coming after you. Physically, it feels like a life or death moment. So, yeah, that's your answer. So, again, it highly depends, alright? But, for me, right, don't mind that that's just a truck going by, alright? But, for me, it shows up when I'm in a romantic situation. You know, someone's asking me out, someone's wanna kiss me, hug me, or something like that, right? I'm bolting out the door. I am gonna turn into Usain Bolt the third, brother. So yes, it highly depends on who you ask, all right? But for me, it's romantic situations. Hope that answers the question for you. Well, fear has no gender, alright? So yes, women can also experience gynophobia if they were harassed by their lesbian which, yes, it happened. It actually happened. I'll probably put up a clip here, I don't know. But yeah, basically, yes, women can also be scared of other women. Simple and short answer, no. Well, for that, I'm just gonna say, right? Relationships, goodbye, brother. That is gone, because relationships involves a man and a woman. Yeah, I bet you didn't know that. And also, I think I remember I told you that gynophobia connects to philophobia, which is fear of relationships, like love. So it has a high effect on relationships. And as for work, then probably your employee, or like your you're not even a CEO. Probably like your colleague, right? If your colleague is a female, then yes, it can affect the thing, right? And in school, right? I didn't have gynophobia growing up. Alright, I got it around when I was 12, when I had a little bit of like internet presence. So yeah, that's that. But it was really, not noticeable until like I made my first ever video on Awkward Go. Ever since then, I've been more vocal about it. Alright, but now, so yeah, but I can tell you, right, from my current experience, what would it be like if someone, like you're in school and you have gynophobia? What would it be, right? What would it be like? Now, I can't say for sure, so do your own research, alright? But in my personal experience, right, not with school, but like, with gynophobia and yada yada yada, you get it, right? You would want to stay away from every classmate. Well, not every, but like 50% of your classmate is like female or like someone. So yeah, you would want to stay away from that if you had gynophobia. Alright, so it's like an intense fear of women. Alright, so yeah, that's it. Like, it can affect those three categories, and in relationships that can affect it really, really much. Alright, and especially in this economy, it's better to stay single. I'm gonna just be honest here. Alright, so yeah, it can affect it. Well, again, it highly depends. Alright, but personally, for me, it didn't really affect my friendship with, well, women that much. Alright, so it's a maybe. Maybe it can affect it, maybe it can. Alright, I can't speak for everyone because, well, I'm the only guy that's, speaking out that, with gynophobia, after answering questions about gynophobia, actually. Though I may not be the first guy, I'm the one that's most vocal, alright? And defending gynophobia, that's not misogyny. It's not misogyny, alright? So, yeah, I can't say for a lot of people, but for me, right? And one other friend that I know, yes, it can affect your relationship with women, but that doesn't mean that you still can't be friends with them. You just have to build trust over time. So yeah, to answer your question, yes, it can, but that doesn't mean that stops you from making friends. Like I said, there were a couple of stages. Alright, stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, and stage final. Alright, if he gets to stage final, alright, imagining he has gynophobia, it's game over. He's never trusting another woman ever again. Alright, and I recently hit that mark. Alright, I'm never trusting a woman again because I came across like Muskan Madan, Samedyansky, and Alcohol, like I told you before. They completely ruined my trust for women. Okay? So, in times like these, alright, it's too late now. Alright? Though there are some hope. Like, you can, try to, show them women who are actually on the man's side, aka, people that like the pygmies. Alright? I'm using pygmies with quotation, by the way. Right? So it can get worsened. Alright? But that doesn't mean it's like permanent or anything. It can be cured with either exposure therapy or like just, showing them good women and saying that, look, not all women are pseudo-feminists. Sometimes they're true feminists too. Short answer, yes, it can be cured. Long answer, I'll give y'all in the next question. The therapies that are most effective. You can just say goodbye to clinical psychology. That won't do shit, alright? They will say sweet things like, oh no, I'm gonna like that, but in reality, it's not going through their head because most people already said that to him, and look how he turned up, alright? So, in my personal opinion, the best therapy you can give is exposure therapy. Basically, that means is, you need to show him women that are good, the quote-unquote pick-me's that these so-called feminists are saying that they are pick-me's, but in reality, they're not. They're advocating for real feminism, equality. So you need to show more women like, pick-me's, alright? And slowly but surely, he will recover, alright? Though one thing I want to note out, right, is that in the stage finale, alright, it can be quite difficult to regain that trust. Again, I told you, it's stage finale, it's going to be difficult, but it's never the last option, okay? There are plenty of ways you can, get this dude's trust back, alright? So, yes, on what therapy is the most effective? Exposure therapy. Yeah, let's continue. Yes, exposure therapy does help. The same way they treat androphobia. Like normal people. Again, it's not hatred, alright? That's the misconception that's going on, alright? That gynophobia equals to misogyny, which it doesn't, alright? It doesn't connect to misogyny, alright? Y'all can check out my last video, alright? I said that, alright, that it doesn't equal to misogyny. I've also provided proof as well. So, just treat us like normal human beings, and we're more than happy. Well, that's pretty easy to do. If the guy that apparently has gynophobia, right, is pretending to have gynophobia, which there are a lot of cases of, alright, if they have a history of woman hatred, alright, then that is prejudice, alright? So, prejudice, alright, or like injustice, I don't know what the question was, right? Prejudice or injustice means that you didn't get justice for anything, alright? Murder case, you didn't get the murder locked up, that's unjustified, alright? But gynophobia is a fear. Is a fear recognized by medical professionals. Alright? Alright, next question. With the way that the internet is going today, if it continues like this, then we might have bigger things to worry about than those two. Yes, gynophobia can lead to online isolation and like an internet culture. Alright? So, those are the two problems, right? But there's even a bigger problem as well, which is like offline isolation as well. It can isolate people in real life. Alright? Well, that's like common, but like, that's like common knowledge, but like still, it's still, kind of concerning that it's happening at such a rapid rate as well. So, yeah, those are the questions that I've gotten for today, right? Though, if y'all want to ask more, then go ahead and mention them either in my community post, or just answer them in the, or not answer, question. Just ask the questions in the comment section, and I'll make sure to respond to it. Anyways, that's all for today. Thank you guys for watching. Comment, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Till then, take care, y'all.